In this video we're going to be going over using significant figures. So in the previous video we went over what significant figures are and the rules on how to figure out how many significant figures. In this video we're actually going to be using them. Like if we were to multiply or divide numbers, there's certain rules that we go by to figure out how many significant figures will be left in the answer. So to start off, we're going to do multiplication and division, or division. So an example, when you are doing multiplication or division, such as 2.0035 divided by 3.2. Okay, so when you do multiplication or division, what you have to do is the answer will have the same number of significant figures as the number with the least amount. So we have two numbers here, and using the rules before, we can tell that this number has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures. So I'll put a 5 right there. This number on the bottom has 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you just simply plug this in your calculator, and you will see that you will get 0.626094. Okay, so a lot of numbers, but if you go back to your original numbers that you plugged in, the top one has 5 significant figures while the bottom one has 3. So because of the rule for multiplication and division, the answer will have the least amount, which is 3. So this answer should be changed to 0. And the way you got to look at it is you're only going to count the first 3 numbers. So these 3 numbers right here. So it comes out to 626. So that answer right there has 3 significant figures, just like the number with the least amount. So we'll do another example just to make sure we got that. Say you have 1.052 times times 12.054 times 0.53. Okay, so we're multiplying 3 numbers. Now the easiest part is just put it in your calculator, and when you put it in your calculator you should get 6.7208. Okay, so that was easy. That's what you get when you plug in your calculator. Now we have to make sure that we're putting the right amount of significant figures in the answer. So to figure out if we are, we have to look at how many significant figures each of these numbers have. So we'll do the first one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. That's a 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and if you don't know how I'm figuring which ones are significant, you should watch the previous video. And on this last one, 1, 2. Okay, so simply, the least amount of significant figures are in this number, which is 2. So the answer will have 2 significant figures, which is going to be this number and this number. Now, here's another tricky part. So we know that the answer is going to be 6 point, then another number. Now we look at this 7, the last significant figure. We're basically going to round this number based on the next one. So just like regular rounding or estimating, numbers 0 to 4, you round down, and then 5 to 9 you round up. So this number is just going to be 7. And that's your answer. Alright, let's try addition and subtraction. So for multiplication and division, the rule was based on the least amount of significant figures. But for addition or subtraction, it's not based on significant figures. It's based on the least amount of decimal places. And if that doesn't make sense, it will in just one moment. So basically, an example, say we have 5.9 minus 0.221. Okay, so 5.9 minus 0.221. First, easiest part, put it in your calculator or do it in your head. It's going to be this number. I didn't use a calculator or do it in my head. I'm looking at a book right now. But anyways, so going back to this rule here. Addition or subtraction, you look at the amount of decimal places. So the least amount of decimal places for the numbers that you're actually putting in your calculator, that will be how many decimal places will be in the answer. So I won't use orange this time because orange is for significant figures. But if we look at the first number right here, how many decimal places are there? 1. Okay, and then the next number, there's going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 1 here, 3 here. So therefore, this number has the least amount of decimal places, which is 1. So therefore, the answer will only have 1 decimal place. So we're going to keep all the whole numbers and then 1 decimal place. So this correct answer is going to be 5 point. Now that's 6. We have to round that based on the next number, which is 7. So we round it up. So the answer is going to be 5.7. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say we have 2.5, 0.07. We'll throw another one in there. You know what? Well, no, I'll keep writing it like this. Then 2.9975. Okay. So and we're going to add all of these together. Okay, so once again, throw it in your calculator. You should get 5.6. Oh, see? I was looking at the wrong number. 5.4125. Okay, so that's the number you get if you plug it in your calculator. But remember, we have to look at the amount of decimal places for the numbers that we're actually using, which is these top 3. And we could tell that the one with the least amount of decimal places easily is this one right here. So, which is 2. So we can basically just, to make it look easy, we can just draw a line right there. Because 2 decimal places, and there will be the 2 decimal places. So the correct answer is going to be 5.41. Pretty easy, right? Okay, now, so we did multiplication and division, and we did addition and subtraction. But now, let's do one where we had to put them all together. Alright, check this problem out. 1.002 minus 0.999, all divided by 3.754. So you know the rules for multiplication and division, and you know the rules for subtraction and addition. But what is the rule when you have both of them in one problem? Well, the answer is it's both rules. You have to do them one at a time. So if we take this one at a time, we're just going to ignore this part. You do your order of operations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, but this is basically has like a parentheses because these are together. So we'll do this part right here. So just ignore that. You're just doing 1.002 minus 0.999. Okay, so you do that. The answer you'll get is 0.003. Okay, so the rule, we did subtraction, so the rule for subtraction is decimal places. If we look at this number right here, the amount of decimal places are 1, 2, 3. The number here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they both have 3. So therefore, this answer that we just wrote has to have 3. And we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're good on that. But remember, don't forget about that 3.754, because that's still there. Okay, so now we change to the multiplication and division rule. So 0.003 divided by 3.754 is going to be, the answer is, I'll write it down here, this equals 0.000799148. Alright, that's a pretty big number. There's a lot of numbers in there. Now the rule for multiplication and division is that the least amount of sig figs for the numbers you use. So in this top number up here, the 0.003, the number of sig figs are 1. And this number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1 here, 4 here. 1 is lesser than 4, so therefore the answer has to have 1 sig fig. So this is not significant, that's not significant, that's not significant, neither is that one. And if you don't know how I'm deciding this, watch the video before. And here's the first significant figure. So therefore, that number right there, just 1. So this number is going to be changed to 0.000, and you have to round it up because of the 9 next to it, 8. And then if you're really cool and you watch the other video, you can change that to scientific notation, which is pretty cool to do, and then your answer looks really nice. Alright, let's do one more with the time we have. So say you have, and I'll write it out. Alright, so we have 6.78 times 5.903 times, open parentheses, 5.489 minus 5.01, close parentheses. So using order of operations, we're going to have to start over here. 5.489 minus 5.01. Okay, so, just throw that in your calculator, and you should get 0.479. Alright, but addition and subtraction, those rules are based on decimal places, which have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. So therefore, we should only have, I'll put blue right here, 0.48. But just as a trick, all that matters is when you get to the final answer. So when you're doing these multi-step calculations, it's to avoid rounding errors in these multi-step calculations. What you can do is you can just leave the number like this, but just remember there's only 2 significant figures because this is the real number. But you can keep it like this in your calculation. In the very end, just take that in consideration that this number only has 2 significant figures. So to continue, lovely. Alright, now if we multiply all those together, the answer will come out as 19.1707. And when you plug this into my calculator, I plugged in the 0.479, not the 0.48, because like I was just saying, you can just keep this in your calculations. And then, based on significant figures, there's 3 there, 4 in that number, and only 2 there, so therefore this final answer should only have 2 significant figures. And there you go. That is your answer. So this is how you use significant figures in multiplication and division and addition and subtraction and putting it all together. It's very important that you know this. You could get a worksheet in your first lab where you have to work these out. These are some good videos that you should reference to if you have problems.